In our last video, we talked about how one can have multiple relativistic particles with charge q, and we can combine all their interaction terms into a single spacetime integral like this. And we said that if we take this interaction action and then also consider the gauge transformation of the 4 vector field mu, which transforms like this, these two combined will give us an insight into the charge conservation of electrodynamics. So we will see how that is in this lecture. So let us see, when we gauge transform the 4 vector field, that is when we transform the 4 vector field mu to mu prime, which is mu minus del mu lambda, and plug this sort of a transformation into this interaction action, let us see how this interaction action changes. So the new interaction action, when we incorporate this change, will be a interaction prime, which is d4x, then j mu remains the same because it does not have any mu contribution, and this mu will transform into mu prime. What is mu prime? Mu prime is the old mu minus del mu lambda. So the first term will be the old interaction term, which I am not writing explicitly because it will be j mu multiplied by the old mu into d4x integral, that is the same the old interaction action A interaction. Then the other term will be plus integral d4x, j mu remains the same, and the extra term is del mu lambda. This minus and this minus will combine to make it a plus sign, and then so it is j mu del mu lambda. This is the extra term which we will have to deal with. So let us see what this thing leads us to. So we will not bother about this term, it just remains the same. Let us see what we can do with this term. So let us modify this and write this as a total derivative term. So I am bringing this del mu outside and writing j mu lambda, del mu of j mu lambda. So I am bringing this del mu lambda over the whole thing, and that means including an extra term. So we have to get rid of that extra term. The extra term is del mu j mu multiplied by lambda. So these are the two terms. I am writing this as a total derivative minus the extra part. So the first term, since it is a total derivative, it can be brought to a d3x kind of integral, which will be j mu lambda multiplied by n mu. This trick you should by this time be familiar with, because this is how we can use the 4-dimensional Gauss's theorem and bring the d4x, which is defined over the 4-dimensional space time, into the boundary of the 4-dimensional space time and make it a d3x integral. So this is a boundary term. This is the first term, and the second term will be d4x, then del mu j mu into lambda integrated all over the 4-dimensional space time. So let us see what happens to the first term. The first term, you know the regular trick, that is if we divide, if we think of the space time as a cylinder where this disk is disk part is the 3-dimensional space, and this is your time axis, and then we think of this integral between time t equal to t2 and t equal to t1, and then we extend this radius to infinity and so on. All these things if we do, then the first term becomes integral d3x. Now I am writing d3x vector because this d3x vector means this upper disk and lower disk, the spatial surfaces, and since this surface has infinite radius, so this cylindrical surface is at very far away from all from all physical points relevant. So this is basically all over the cylindrical surface is at spatial infinity, therefore that will not contribute. So the only contributing part will be d3x, spatial d3x at t2 and t1. So this thing will be j mu lambda and n mu. Since this mu is now n, when we define it like this, and on these disks the n mu will be 1 0 0 0. So n mu n0 is 1, and the other n mu's, that is n equal to n1 n2 n3 are 0. So it is n0 which is 1. So n0 is 1. So I don't need to bother about it, and the inside j mu will only have j0 contribution, because j1 j2 and j3 will be multiplied by n1 n2 n3, which will not contribute. So this is d3x j0 lambda defined at, this is at t equal to t2, that is the upper disk, and t equal to t1, that is the lower disk. These are the two contributing terms, right? So these are basically the all space points at the terminal time and at the initial time. since lambda, this lambda is the gauge parameter, and this is we have a choice to think to set this lambda equal to 0 on these two surfaces. On these two surfaces we can set lambda equal to 0 at t equal to t1 and lambda equal to 0 at t equal to t2. This we can do by our choice. Why? Because lambda is an arbitrary gauge parameter. See, this lambda we brought in to define this gauge transformation, and lambda is in our hand. Lambda is the parameter which we can set. So, we can choose this lambda to be 0 at T2 and T1 surfaces. So, therefore, this term at T2 and T1, this term will not contribute. So, this term will give us 0. What was the other term? The other term is this one. This term, let us see what happens. So, the interaction action. So, let us just remind ourselves what we have done so far. We have seen that the interaction action, when we plug in this gauge transformation, changes to this thing. If we break it down, we get back the old interaction term and a new term. This new term, we can write it as a total derivative term, which becomes a three-dimensional surface integral. This we have taken care of now and shown that if we choose the lambda at T2 and T1 surface equal to 0, then this first term, which is the boundary term, does not contribute. So, we are left with the second term now. What is the second term? The second term is the d4x integral defined all over the 4-dimensional space. There is a minus sign before, and then del mu j mu multiplied by lambda. This, see here, this lambda and this integral is all over the space time points, that is all space time points are there in this integration. So, we cannot say we will choose lambda equal to 0 here, because we could choose lambda equal to 0 at T2 and T1, because these are just two boundary surfaces of our integral. But if in this term, if we say that lambda is 0, that means lambda will be 0 all over the space time. That means we have not gauge transformed at all. We cannot say we have taken lambda in such a way that the lambda is 0 all over the space time. It can only be 0 at the boundary of our space time. So, lambda is not 0 here. So, but we need this extra term to be 0. Otherwise, your interaction action will not be invariant under this transformation. What was our point? Our point is, if we transform mu, then we are saying that this is something which leaves the f mu nu, the field strength tensor, invariant. So, we want to see if this transformation can leave the interaction action invariant. So, if we plug in this transformation, but then we see that the interaction action gives back the old interaction part, but also gives this term. So, this term somehow we have to make it go to 0. How can we do that? This can only be 0, and we cannot say lambda is 0 all over the space time. So, this can only be 0 if the bracketed part, that is del mu j mu, is equal to 0. If we somehow can impose this condition on the system, then the interaction action, A interaction under gauge transformation, becomes invariant. You should understand the point right now. That is, we had the earlier interaction action, we plugged in the gauge transformation and saw that the interaction action gives back the old interaction action and an extra part. That extra part can be divided into two parts. One part is a surface integral, which we by logic put to 0. Then there was another term which has a del mu j mu multiplied by lambda. This term will only be 0 if del mu j mu is 0. That kind of a condition can be imposed. So, for our interaction action to remain gauge invariant under the transformation of mu vector field, we need this condition del mu j mu equal to 0. If this actually works, then let us see what this thing physically means. Let us say we impose this condition and let us and see what this means. What was j mu? J mu was rho into dx mu dt. So, if we think of J0, the 0th component, it will be rho dx0 dt. Dx0, since our c is 1, so dx0 is dt itself. So, dt by dt is 1. So, J0 is rho, that is the charge density itself. And what are the three vector part? The ji part, it will be rho into dxi dt. So, basically rho into vi, that is charge density multiplied by velocity, ith component, right. So, this should be familiar to you by now. So, J0, we have obtained the 4 vector j mu, whose 0th component is the charge density and the 3 vector component is charge density multiplied by the normal 3 velocity, not 4 velocity, charge density multiplied by 3 velocity. So, this is our familiar definition of current density and charge density. So, combining these two, we think of J mu or call J mu as a current density 4 vector, and this del mu J mu equal to 0 condition gives us del 0 J 0 plus del I J I equal to 0. So, del 0 is d dt or del t, and J 0 is rho, and del I J I is divergence of your J vector. So, this you should recognize readily as our conservation, right, current and divergence of current and del t of charge density. So, this is your continuity equation which you are familiar with from your BSc electrodynamics. So, in a way we can say that demanding the gauge symmetry of the interaction action under the gauge transformation of mu vector field leads us to the continuity equation which gives us charge conservation. How does this continuity equation lead us to charge conservation? That is easy, because we know, and we have long ago discussed this, that if we have a relation like del mu J mu equal to 0, then we can think of this as del mu J mu integrated over d4x. This kind of integration we can think of. Since this is 0, that means this integration should also be 0. If this integration is 0, then it can be, since it is a boundary term, it can be converted to J mu n mu d3x, this kind of thing, and this will still be 0 because this thing is equal to this by Gauss's divergence theorem applied to 4-dimensional space time. And since this is 0, so this will also be 0, and J mu n mu d3x, if we again think of the space time as that cylinder, etc., that cylindrical geometry which we are using so many times. So, for this upper disk and lower disk at T2 and T1, this will give us J0 n0, n0 is 1 here. So, J0 d3x integral will be 0 defined at T2 and T1, right. Sorry, this notation is a bit wrong. I mean, what I meant is, if this is 0, we can think of this as this surface integral, or 3 surface integral d3x will be on this upper disk at T2, this lower disk at T1, and this sideways thing which is the cylindrical surface will be at special infinity, so will not contribute. So, the integration will be J0 d3x at T2 minus J0 d3x at T1, right. So, this is basically rho d3x, that is rho charge density multiplied by the 3 space integral at T2 minus charge density integrated all over 3 space at T1. Difference of them is 0, that is charge density integrated all over the space at time T1 will be equal to charge density multiplied by all space at T2, right. That means the total charge at T1 and total charge at T2 are same, because this minus this is 0. So, this equal to this, that means total charge at time T1 and total charge at time T2 are same, and this means conservation of electric charge. So, from this we can say that the gauge symmetry of electrodynamics or gauge symmetry of the 4 vector field, this gauge symmetry mu going to mu prime, which is the old mu minus del mu lambda with this gauge parameter lambda, this will leave the interaction action invariant if del mu J mu equals 0. That means gauge symmetry demands this condition, and this condition leads to conservation of charge, which is rho d3x spatial integral is unchanged with time. That is, when we see this at T1 and we see again this thing at T2, the quantity is same, that means charge is conserved. So, gauge symmetry of electrodynamics leads to conservation of charge. So, let us stop this this piece of lecture here, and in the next lecture we will talk about the Lorentz transformation properties of the electromagnetic field tensor F mu nu. How F mu nu is a second rank tensor, how it transforms under Lorentz transformation will be the topic of discussion in the next lecture. So, bye bye for now.